Imagine you are in 1947. Remove all the things which were not there. Now start cooking like that.
One thing I always ignored was finances. ताजमहल बनाएंगे पर वो चलेगा कैसे वो बाद में सोचेंगे.
A restaurant business is a very risky business. 70% of the restaurants shut down in the first 1 year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, see, everybody has failures.
People were not giving the classic food right. And that's what we changed. This is a tribute to the legacy of Mr. Kundalal Jaggi. Came here in 1947. He opened a restaurant in an area called Daryaganj, where he met butter chicken dal makhani. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, who used to come there.
What happened that you thought that, okay, I don't want one, I want 15 or 20?
So I went and started pitching. Everyone kept on rejecting. When COVID happened.
How you learned in this journey?
If you win your team's heart, they will win your customer's heart.
And that small things really changes your entire experience.
In 1947, when butter chicken dal makhani came about, they were modern.
Yeah.
So today, what is modern can become a classic in the future. I mean, like anyone says North Indian, they have to say Daryaganj, you know.
You were on Shark Tank, right?
We went there for the shoot, you know.
Welcome to Evolve Podcast. Today I'm sitting with co-founder and CEO of Daryaganj Hospitality, Amit Bagga. He's the guy who's bought recipes from 1947, butter chicken and dal makhani, the legacy food which we all love. And we're going to talk about how he's made this into this successful restaurant chain with 15 outlets and upcoming probably 6-8 restaurants more. He just opened up in Bangkok as well. And thank you so much, Amit, for coming to the podcast. And I would love to hear your story, your failures, and how everyone and anybody who has any dream of getting into restaurants, how he can do that. Thank you for having me over.
My pleasure.
So, Amit, Daryaganj has been growing insanely, and you've been all over the place, and you've been on Shark Tank. I see you on every platform possible where they talk about restaurants, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's quality of restaurants. You're winning like multiple awards. Tell me, how did Daryaganj came into existence, and what's your story like?
So first of all, it's a great honor to be on your show. Thank you very much for having me here. So the story of Daryaganj started about 6 years back. We just celebrated our 6th anniversary in April, and many milestones we were celebrating. But I'll go back a few more years. In fact, I'll go back 90 years maybe. So this Daryaganj brand story is this, that my childhood friend and someone from my, I've known him for like since I was 5 years old, Raghav Jaggi and me, we started this brand together in 2019. So the story of Daryaganj is that this is a tribute to the legacy of Mr. Kundalal Jaggi, who's the inventor of butter chicken and dal makhani, the two most popular Indian dishes in the world. And it's also an effort to get North Indian cuisine back, and to make it more popular, make our next generations come and try North Indian cuisine, and and actually not think that our cuisine is something which is very heavy, very spicy. So we wanted to change that and get the classics back. This was what and why we started Daryaganj. So Mr. Kundalal Jaggi, who's Raghav's grandfather, his story still goes back 90 years back. So he was a young boy in 1930s working in Peshawar, which was still part of India that time, and he used to be a cook. He used to make tandoori chicken and different dishes there, and going ahead to partition 1947. So when he was working there in Peshawar, he used to work for a man called Mokha Singh, who used to have a restaurant there. And when the partition of India happened in 1947, he had to as a refugee take refuge and come to New Delhi, and it was a very tough time. In fact, my grandfather also came from what is now Pakistan, and then came as a refugee to Delhi. So in fact, that's a very strong story of resilience. How many people from Delhi, and you see many people in India who are Punjabis, who came from the Punjab of Pakistan, was mostly Punjab that time, and they came with nothing. They had lost everything. My grandfather also lost everything he had. He didn't have, he was a very, came from a very good industrious family, but that when partition happened, no one could take anything with them. They all ended up being, refugees. So that was the story of Mr. Kundalal Jaggi. He came here in 1947. He opened a restaurant in an area called Daryaganj. And in that area is where he invented butter chicken dal makhani. And that's why we call our brand Daryaganj. In 1992, moving forward, in fact, after opening the restaurant in 1947, the restaurant became very popular. It was frequented by the top celebrities of the world. Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru was India's first Prime Minister. He was the one who used to come there and and popularize and patronize their food. And that's one of the reasons that they became so popular. In fact, there was a time when Mr. Kundalal Jaggi was catering to Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru's state banquets in the Prime Minister residence, and then dignitaries from all over the world coming and trying all that food. So that's one of the reasons why butter chicken, dal makhani, all of these dishes, how they become popular on the world, because the India's Prime Minister used to serve it to them. So that was the great journey for them. Mr. Kundalal Jaggi, when he started that, like I said, he came back. He came back with a bang, and he started a revolution of North Indian cuisine. He regained all the things he wanted in life, and became, he was he made a great amount of wealth for his family, and got a lot of success. And then 1992 is when he was almost, I think, in his 60s or 70s. He decided to retire, and he and his other two partners who had opened the restaurant together, one of them had already retired earlier. Two of them were left, and they also sold that restaurant in Daryaganj, and they exited the business.
Okay.
So the other partners still continued with some other locations, but Mr. Jaggi's family exited the restaurant. That was 1992. And then moving forward by almost maybe say 25 years now, 2017. 25 years later is when I came in the picture. Okay. 2017.
Right.
2017, I went to Raghav. I said, I really want to do a North Indian restaurant brand, and I want to tell, and you also want to tell your grandfather's story to the world, because he had told me that people don't know about my grandfather's story, what he'd done for the cuisine, and how he invented these dishes. I said, why don't we make that a common mission, and let's start a new North Indian restaurant brand. That's how the foundation and the thought of Daryaganj came in 2017.
Got it.
And luckily, fortunately, Mr. Jaggi was still alive. Mr. Kundalal Jaggi was still alive that time.
Nice.
He was 94 years old, and
he would have been really happy, yeah?
Yeah, so I went and met him, and I spoke to him. I had videos of him talking. He was giving me all the tips, what they used to do in 1950s, 1940s, how these dishes were served in that time, what kind of ingredients went into them, what kind of techniques went into them, and all of that I reconstructed, to get to the before I was starting Daryaganj. So I'll take a pause here, and then that's when Daryaganj journey was about to start. So I'll tell you a bit about my story, my personal story. So I'm born and brought up in Delhi. I was in a school called St. Columbus. That's where Raghav and me met. And so I always had a passion for hospitality, for restaurants, hotels. When I was 15, 16 years in school, I used to be sitting down and talking about how I'm going to convert all these classrooms into hotel rooms and make them suites. So like that, yeah. But then and my family was into the automobile business by the name of Bagga Link, and they were my family was very well known that time. My grandfather, like I said, he also came from Pakistan and made a great success of himself. And so family business was going well, and everyone expected me to join. My father and everyone expected me to join the family business, and that's what I also had in mind. So when I was about 18 or 19, when I left school, and that time I joined my father's business. I was also studying, but I would not call it like a full-time studying. I was kind of putting more time into the family business and also studying on the side. Something I regret. I should have maybe done a proper bachelor. But I think naturally I don't want to regret about it, because I think sometimes it's better to not have any book knowledge which really makes you stops you from doing things differently.
Yeah.
So I started went to my family's business. Then I was, but still that passion remained for restaurants and hotels. So somehow I continued for many years. Then when I was about 26 or 27, I went to my dad and said I want to get into the restaurant business, and I would, it was tough to convince him and my family, but somehow they agreed, and I had to actually take a loan from them as well to start that. So I went and started a restaurant, which was a bar with a friend of mine, where who was already into the business, and I started a few bar cafe brands.
Where was this?
This was in Khan Market and Hoskas Village. A few brands we started. And those became very, very successful at that point of time, honestly. Because it was the right time to open. There was not many bars and restaurants in the market.
What year are we talking about?
2011-12, almost 13-14 years back. So 2011-12, that's when. So it's a 15-year-old journey for me as a restaurateur. So 2010-11 is where I started. And then I opened the first few restaurants. They were all overnight successes. They were like, everything was going great. So almost 5-6 restaurants I had opened, and they were all doing very well. But they were more bar focused, and they were more more for the youngsters. Then I did one mistake of opening a lot of my restaurants in one market, which was Hoskas Village. It was quite a beautiful market at that time, but they had some infrastructural issues because it was an old village converted into an urban market. And then there were some regulatory issues. Licenses were getting cancelled. You were not getting the permissions.
Yeah, even I had a spa there, and it was doing great because they had a lake at the back, so you could just sit in the tub and enjoy the lake. And couples used to come and people used to come. But then suddenly, like what you said, infrastructure, because probably that building had like 8 restaurants, 5 restaurants, 7 cafes. So the parking was such an issue. Then regulatory issues came in because obviously everybody was complaining, and that market overnight kind of start failing.
Exactly. So that's what happened with me. So, the first 5-6 years I had a great run. Then I decided to open 3 brands, 3 new food-focused brands, all in Hoskas Village. And this was the year 2016, or 15 or 16. And when I was starting them, these regulatory issues came in. So imagine I've invested all my money, opened these restaurants, I'm not getting a license to operate. And when by the time I get a license, I've suffered so many losses already. And then I open it and the market goes down. So it was like a kind of a big setback for me. So that time, from having, and slowly, all those restaurants shut down because of Hoskas Village. Because of the losses I faced there, I had to shut down other restaurants as well. So I had come down to a point then of 0 restaurants. And then I was like, what do I do? That was 2016-17. Then what do I do from here? Should I go and do something else? But then, this thought came to my mind that I don't want to be called a failed restaurateur. I'm like, okay, now I think I need to learn from whatever mistakes I made, because I was not doing bad concepts. I was doing good food. I was doing a good concept, but my timing, my locations, my strategy went wrong. So I said, maybe I should not just give up on this and maybe not leave it like that. So it was a tough time for me, where everyone had written me off that this guy's journey is over now. He's a failed restaurateur. So I said, okay, I'm going to change that. But then I don't want to. I always feel one thing in life, which I tell everyone, that if anyone says something to you where of putting you down or whatever, you should not try to say anything negative back. Just do something to change that. And you don't have to go and confront anyone. Just go and change yourself. And
Absolutely. Like see, everybody has failures. I've had my failures. But now if I you don't do things to prove someone wrong कि इसने मुझे ऐसे कैसे कह दिया तो अब मैं ये करूँगा वो. It's your own personal journey, and it's a single player game. So
like this, with all the bricks thrown at me, I made a castle. So that's what it is. So you need to take it in a positive way. Everyone saying that should become a motivation for you. So that was the motivation. I said, now I'm not going to give up. I have to prove this point, and prove this for myself, not for anyone else. I have to prove it to myself as well. So I said, okay. So then I was like, I sat down and I analyzed what all I did wrong. So I came out with 3-4 things which I went wrong with. One was, I said, okay, location. I should not be very careful on the location. No risk on the location. Because then, they could be, wherever there's a gray area, don't get into that location. That's one thing I realized. Second is, I also realized one thing, that we were focusing on a bar focused concept, which is focused on the young audience, but yeah, like maybe say 20 to 20, 30 year olds, but those will not remain 20 to 30 year old all their life. So when they will grow up, then you find another generation.
Yeah.
So that's your customer is not loyal.
Plus,
so,
plus their trends change and
yes, it changes very fast.
Today you want to go to summer house, tomorrow you want to go to Boca.
So this keeps changing, and so bars are not very loyal, not a very long living concept. So that's one second thing I realized. Third thing I realized that I need to focus on maybe specialize in one cuisine. That's where I said, okay, now which is the cuisine in India? North Indian cuisine, nothing better than that. And I was being a North Indian myself, I personally love my North Indian food. I've been grown up having my Punjabi food from butter chicken, tandoori chicken, dal makhani. All of that is what I loved eating as a kid. So that's it. I said, okay, this is a segment I will focus on. Fourth was I have to look at doing a space which is not too big and not too small. I don't want to make a 10,000, 5,000 square feet space which is empty. Rather have a small space. Even if it does well, people will wait. And it's actually that becomes your advantage. Absolutely. Because there's a hype. Why are people waiting outside this restaurant? What is so good about it? So I said that was my another learning. Then and so a lot of these learnings put together, I decided I will do a North Indian restaurant brand. And that's where my story, how I went and spoke to Raghav, that I think we should do this North Indian brand together. And that's how Daryaganj's story started, from the conceptualization of Daryaganj started. And then when I was talking about how I met Mr. Kundalal Jaggi, and then, so unfortunately he passed away before we started the first restaurant, but he lived a very good life, 94 years old. And so 2018, he passed away. In 2019, we started the first Daryaganj restaurant in Aero City. It's a funny story that, so just a few weeks before I was opening the restaurant, a lot of friends of mine, and so a lot of friends who were in the restaurant industry, all of them came to meet me. Because they saw I was opening a new restaurant, and they came and saw the restaurant. They came inside. Your interiors are not that great. I don't know. Maybe you should have done better. I mean, okay, ab ho gaya, whatever. Then some people came for my food trials. I made them try the food we were doing. I said, "Maza nahi aaya." I was like, what do I do now? Ab to kar liya. So it was like 2 weeks before that, a lot of people were giving me negative feedback.
Right.
For whatever reasons, whether it was their own thinking or whatever.
Everybody has different taste.
But I stuck to my convention. They said, why are you doing North Indian classic food? Do something modern, do tamasha, do this. I said, I could have, have listened to them if that time, because I was in such a position. Thankfully, I didn't. I was like, what I want to do, I will stay convicted to that. I will not change it. And I will stick to classic North Indian cuisine. And in fact, the funny thing is, when I was doing my food trials, so the chef came. I said, okay, now we are doing a trial of these dishes, which are all the kebabs, the curries, and all that. So now I said, okay, now go and make a tandoori chicken the way you make it. He came and got me the tandoori chicken. I said, okay, now show me what all you put into this. He said, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 18 ingredients. I said, remove 10. He said, what? But this is how tandoori chicken is made. I said, no, remove these 10 ingredients. Now only focus on these. And I said, okay, remove this packed ingredient, get a fresh thing. So I eliminated all the ingredients which I felt were not right, which were just been introduced in the last so many decades. I went back to the original ingredients.
Interesting.
So now it's a known fact that desi ghee is more healthier than a vegetable oil. But it was totally the other way around many few decades back, but now it's changed. So that's all I was doing. So then I did food trials as per that, and then I followed the old techniques. I went to the kitchen, I said, imagine you are in 1947, remove all the things which were not there. Mixer grinder goes away, this equipment goes away. This was not there in 1947. Now think you are 1947, you are a chef in 1947. Now start cooking like that. So that's how we go back to the basics. Then in fact, that time my chefs were not very happy. They were like, what are you saying? This is not the way, whatever. They were like, okay, we don't want to do it, but now we are paid to do it, let's just do it. So they were not doing it very happily, whatever I was telling them. They did that. Then we opened the restaurant for the first day. There was already a lot of hype around it. 9 p.m. we opened, the restaurant was full. And everyone was loving the food. And touch wood, there was no looking back after that. The first day, we picked it up like anything, and from that first month, we were profitable. And then after that, everyone, those same chefs and everyone came and said, we were wrong, you were right. And all my friends said, great that, we never thought it will work, but it worked. And everyone didn't ask me why it worked. I said, why? Because I did not go with everyone, the whole world's opinion. I was sure there was something missing. People were not giving the classic food right. And that's what we changed. And the classic food right in a nice contemporary environment. Why do you have to have an Indian restaurant cliche with those Mughal design, all of that, and make it like old style music? I said we will change all of that. And how I changed that, which I will tell you, was my philosophy of 5 senses.
You had your restaurants, and obviously it would have been really hard for you that it failed or it had to close down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
How does a man go to somebody and say that, boss, I have failed, but I have another idea and this will work? How does that happen?
So I'll tell you something interesting. When I decided in 2016 that I want to do an Indian restaurant brand, so I just put a basic concept together, and I was like, okay, now obviously I was short of funds, so I had to go and talk to investors to pitch the idea. So I went and started pitching. So first investor, second, third, fourth, everyone kept on rejection. So it came down to a point that after almost 20-30 rejections, I'm like, no one is ready to believe in me and my idea, and because obviously I've just failed.
Exactly.
So it was very tough. But then I realized, so I was, one day I was just sitting somewhere, and and someone had passed a statement about me, and that statement I overheard through someone. The statement made was, this guy has a 1% chance of succeeding. So I said 1% chance means 1 out of 100. So that means I can try 100 times. As simple as that. So I've only tried 20-30 times. Yeah. Let's keep trying. So I used to go every day, pitch without being scared of failure. I said, okay, assume they might fail. But I said, okay, my law of number averages will get better, or my stats will get better. But somewhere, if I've done 100, somewhere someone has to say yes. And that person who said yes was my friend Raghav only, okay. My childhood friend. I pitched to him and he loved the idea because he also had a thought like this, and he said, okay, I'll do this with you. So I thank him for that, that he believed in me at that time with the lowest point I had. But no one was ready to believe. And in fact, there were stories of, like funny stories. I can't tell you, like, or like one person saying that, I've seen this guy's horoscope. He's never going to be able to do anything. So everyone had written me off.
Yeah.
And that was my
happened. That's happened, because I asked you specifically this question because in COVID, wellness and spas were the first to got shut and the last to open. Right. So we were shut for 2 years and मतलब मैंने अपने ऑफिस बंद कर दिया. जब मैंने अपने ऑफिस खोला, everything was spoiled. The laptops, all electronic was spoiled because it was shut. And then मैं दोबारा से I had to make my company, and I was again pitching like I'm a fresher, like I'm a startup. And I was pitching, and I know how difficult it is. That's why I asked you this question.
Yeah, it was quite difficult. But I think, so one more very big reason in this is also support of your family and friends. Maybe not. Sometimes someone has family to support, someone has friends to support. It's not the same every time. Yeah. But I was happy that I have a very very good life partner who she really supported me a lot, my wife. So it was very big support for me. And because sometimes when no one is believing in you and one person says no, it's okay, you can do it, go and try, that really helps. Even a small motivation like that helps sometimes. And so that was one big reason as well. And then again, a thing about me is I'm very stubborn. Like yaar to karna hi hai, jaise bhi karna hai, karke dikhana hai. So that was the thing. So I kept on trying. So and that kept me going.
Yeah. So tell me, like Daryaganj, the first one you opened, and now you're sitting on 15 restaurants. Yeah. How did you start scaling up, and what happened that you thought that, okay, I don't want one, I want 15 or 20?
So it never started like that. When I was opening that first Daryaganj restaurant, my idea was, pehle to isko chala lo. I thought, I hope just this does well. I get enough that I can, manage my, life well, and I can prove a point that I've made a successful. That was the only thing. And but then my only thing as in what result I wanted. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing it for that reason. But when I said, okay, when I'm few weeks before the opening, everyone was putting it, telling me that it won't work. I said, Amit, there's no way. I was talking to myself few days before the restaurant was opening. I said, what can I do from here? I can't change the interior. I can't change the concept. I've already done everything. I can't do any changes here. So what do? I just believe in myself. and I go and without thinking what is going to happen, what people are going to say, I go and give my best effort. See, what is in your hand is your effort. Result is going to come with your, because whatever the result will be because of the effort. You can't just directly go and get the result. You have to put your effort, and that's what the result is going to come out of. So I said, okay, I will open this restaurant and I will make sure this is the best North Indian restaurant in the country. And that's how I have to think. I go there, I stand there I used to be 18 hours standing there, opening in the morning, then waiting in the late in the night, looking at every single detail, every single aspect, improvising whatever required. Because I had the privilege that I could improvise anything there and then with the customer feedback, listening to the customer, improving
That's
things.
the best way.
And I did that, and I was like, I have to keep making sure that everything is perfect. And that was the only thing I had in mind. But the thing is, sometimes when you only focus on getting the best, giving the best product to your customer, they only make you successful. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to do any marketing. Because if I focus on my product, I was in a good location, thankfully, where people are coming in. So people are already coming in. You don't need too much marketing. But when they come in, make sure they go back so happy that they come back again. And then they go and get 10 people more that please go and try out this restaurant.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked. And then coming to your question of how we decided to expand, we came to a point, the restaurant was so successful, touch wood, that it was a 60-seater restaurant. There used to be queues of 50 people outside waiting for a table. I'm not just saying it, 50 people waiting outside. One day I was standing outside, there were like 30-40 people waiting outside. We were actually serving them lemonade and chai, who were waiting outside for a table for 2 hours.
That's a great gesture.
And they come and tell me, why don't you open more restaurants?
Right.
This is not enough.
Right.
So okay. So it came out of customer asking for it. I didn't open more restaurants just because I want to. The market is asking for it. There's a demand for it. So we went and opened another restaurant in Connaught Place very soon, and then we assigned 3 more. And within the first 11 months, we had opened 4 restaurants, and 5th one was about to open. And 12th month of our operations is when COVID happened. And just a few days before the first anniversary, the setback of COVID came. And I was like, yaar, ab to lagta hai back to square one. what do I do now?
Yeah.
But yes, like the same way, like you said, that was a tough time, but it really was time which I got a lot of time to introspection, to understand what, to get focus a lot on different things. In fact, I made myself so busy I couldn't even have time during the COVID time, because I was so busy in my home office. I was looking at things, analyzing things, reading about stuff, learning new stuff. And it really helped me, make my...
Absolutely, man. Like, I learned so much in COVID, because what happened was that you work a certain way, right? You have a big office, you have employees. Now you don't have anybody. Now everybody's saying... So I was like, okay, nothing is anchoring me down. Now I can start with fresh infrastructure.
Yes.
अब मुझे 10 लोग चाहिए. पहले मैंने जो 20 लोग रखे हुए हैं किसी काम के लिए, अब वो 10 हो गए. अब वो तुम्हारा जो पोटेंशियल है वो डबल स्पीड पे चल रहा है. बिकॉज पहले तुम फॉर ग्रांटेड ले रहे थे चीज़ें, अब तुम्हें पता है कि रिसोर्स कम है. So you making the most of those resources, your creativity increase. I learned so much. I did so many courses on wellness.
Same with me. I learned a lot of things.
My learning abilities, my knowledge grew like 10 times. I made a course with Amity University where 25,000 people did this course, and never in my mind I thought I will be teaching, a course in a college. Wow. So so I did things which I never thought of.
So when I was saying about, when I was earlier talking about when I was making the Daryaganj concept, I applied the 5 senses concept. So I'll tell you what, it's linked to the COVID story. So I'm going to tell you a background of that 5 senses. So I realized one thing when I was decoding all the good restaurants, because I think everything revolves around the customer. You have to think of everything from the customer's point of view, not from your own point of view. What you like, what you want doesn't matter. What the customer likes, what the customer wants, how do you make the customer happy? You have to be customer obsessed. The biggest company in the world, Amazon, Jeff Bezos says we are a customer obsessed company. That's why they are number 1. So I realized that when a customer comes into or in our industry we say guest, when a guest comes to your restaurant, what does he experience? He experiences the whole restaurant through his 5 senses. So for example, so that's where I said, okay, now I will make sure all my 5 senses in the restaurant are very well thought of. So when we enter the restaurant, you will feel a fragrance. That fragrance was specially developed by me, where I looked at hundreds of iterations and we developed a fragrance with a company called Arome. So we developed a fragrance which was a mix of a Indian flower note and a contemporary note together, and that gives a very good feel-good factor as well. So that became the scent of Daryaganj, the fragrance of Daryaganj. When you enter, you see every Daryaganj you go to, you will feel the same fragrance. Wow. That was first. Then second was the music. So I carefully handpicked every single song. When I was the restaurant's construction was going on, there's a DJ sitting on the side. He's playing all the songs. Okay, yes. I was doing that. So I handpicked 250 songs, and all songs were not like straight songs. It were like more like unplugged, newer artists, like younger artists singing old songs. But if I played old songs, they might be boring for the younger generation, and then if I play a younger song, the old generation might not like it. So I've got a balance of both, where you could when our songs are playing, the elder generation, we know this song, and they identify with the song, but the younger generation also identifies with the voice. So that ways we make that. So that was the second. Third was, when you enter the restaurant, you sit down, your sense of touch. Whatever you touch on the table, everything was thought of. Every single ingredient, utensil, like it's a modern plate plus old style utensil, that kind of stuff comes on the table. And touch is also how the guest is, how the servers or the team interacts with the guests. That's how we taught them to treat them. I said, treat them like they are your guest at home. That's how you need to treat them. That was a sense of touch. Then the sense of sight, which is what when you enter the restaurant, what you see. So we made sure the restaurant, whether anyone who comes in, first of all, doesn't feel too intimidated by the interiors. So it's like brick walls, earthy tones, making it like something which is approachable. Not very, it should not make you feel like you have to, dress up, or you have to be in an environment which is very, very formal. So but at the same time, so the contemporary look of the interior plus retro elements all coming in, so to make sure that both the stories, the real story is coming out of how we are getting the retro classics back into a new contemporary way. So interior was reflecting that as well. And then the fifth one was the most important, sense of taste for a restaurant business. When you sit down, what you try, the food, the ingredients. I'm telling you, whatever people might say, a guest can make out when they try the food, this is fresh or this is good or not. If it's been cooked before and just heated up and served, people will be able to make out. So you
100%. They might not be able to, point a finger at what's wrong, but they will know something is wrong.
But the thing is, they will subconsciously notice this thing, taste kaisa hai, whatever it is. But all the five senses were playing in subconsciously. So when you go back home, you might not think too much about what experience you had there. But next time, your vibe was not good. But what is that vibe? Why do you want to go back? Because maybe subconsciously, all your five senses did not like it. You might only notice the first taste as a very predominant sense, but the other four senses were already playing when you were sitting there.
No, 100%. Yeah. I have myself, I'll go to a restaurant, and you must have noticed sometimes the table is smelling.
Yeah,
all of something that is smelling. And that small things really changes your entire experience.
So in fact, I tell everyone that we are lucky as a restaurant business that we can touch all five senses. And in fact, like in your wellness business, you are touching all the senses as well, apart from the sense of taste. That's why maybe you serve that green tea or something, then you complete the five senses experience. So that's what happens.
Absolutely. In our spas also, we have made these 27 touch points. Like from the point a person enters the spa to the point he exits, whatever he's touching, whatever he's feeling, whatever he's smelling.
We've done the same.
So the whole journey is mapped out.
Yeah, and like I said, the five senses where you in a spa, you're hearing some nice music. You are you're looking at a comfortable spa room. Then you're being touched by the therapist. Then and then you're hearing some nice music as well, soothing music. Then the sense of taste. Last you could do it with ending it with a tea or maybe something. That's where the five senses experience gets completed. Even in the wellness,
No, you're Amit. You're so passionate about your work, and I love the fact that you've been so deep into your research and figuring out
yeah.
five senses and figuring what looks nice and what doesn't
Yeah,
look nice.
it makes a lot of difference.
You know, this friend of mine, Omar Zirafa, he's from Malta. Okay, Malta is this small island which is close to Italy, and it's probably one of the most Catholic islands, and they're really far away from everything else. It's got a touch of Italian culture because it's closer to Italy. So I went to visit him. We met in some conference and we became great friends. I went to visit him and he cooked me a complete Indian meal. And I was like, dude, what is this? He's like, I love India. I'm obsessed with butter chicken. I'm obsessed with, dal. He made me, he had lichad papad in his house. He had haldiram and everything was happening out there. And then he's like, bro, my dream is to come to India and have butter chicken. So he came to India and he was staying with me. We went to Lace. He didn't have much time. So I like, okay, let me order something for you. Then I ordered Daryaganj makhni dal and butter chicken and the whole, naan and romali roti, everything. And then he had this and he's like, oh my God. And he took a picture like, people who invented butter chicken and that. Like, dude, I'm in the mecca of butter chicken and makhni. He loved the entire thing and I was so happy. That, you get a gateway into the history of the country, the history of how people used to have the whole packaging, 1947, and he had the whole playlist of the QR code. He's like, oh.
So I'll tell you something interesting here. When we were talking about how COVID happened, so I was coming to this about the five senses, that how the five senses is my, my main thing is five senses for a dining experience. So when COVID happened, we were like, what do we do now? Because all the restaurants are shut. We can only do delivery. So, and like, how can we get five senses into delivery? Just random thought came in. Like, can we get five senses into delivery? Like, I started thinking, how we can do that? That was a challenge. So I said, okay, what we can do is, when the box, they see, I create a box or something, which they open, so they will get a nice feel of the brand colors. So that's the first thought came in, that, we can make a nice color looking box, which the colors of the brand, they can see the whole story. That was the first sense of sight. Then touch. Okay, the box should be a nice material, the food they touch and all the thing, that will be touch. Then obviously taste as well, they will taste the food, and the food, same flavors will come out. Then the two other senses, okay, the sense of hearing and sense of smell. What do I do with that? I said, okay, let's do this. Every box will have a note which will be having the same fragrance of the restaurant sprayed onto it. And then, so when the package is received at anyone's house, they open the box and the whiff of the fragrance comes in. And they are smelling the same fragrance of the Daryaganj. And then music, what do we do with that? One person said, okay, put a small speaker. I said, no, that's not going to be I can't put that much of cost into it. So what we did, we called up a company, said, okay, we are giving you a playlist, you put it on your system, on your app, and give us a QR code. So I took the QR code, put it in the box, and said anyone who wants to hear the music of the restaurant, they scan the code on the phone, the music starts playing. So imagine you're sitting in a restaurant, and they're sitting in your house, you have the Daryaganj packaging in front of you, it's already smelling like the fragrance of Daryaganj, and you put your phone with the same background music and enjoy the Daryaganj experience at home. And that's where the five senses came to your delivery. And I can very proudly say we did the first five senses delivery packaging in the world. And it's right here, in fact, if you see all the boxes right here, it's called five senses delivery.
Yeah.
And
let me hold this. Let me hold this so that it's in the camera.
And you should open it.
Wow, look at this.
And this is the QR code right there.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the whole story of the brand coming in.
Amazing. We got to take this video again so that we have it, huh?
Yeah.
So you basically, people could not come to Daryaganj Restaurant, but you brought the restaurant to their house.
Exactly. And touching the five senses, which was the main thing. Because I said, the basics don't change. You have to touch the customer's five senses. And delivery, there were the challenges which we found solutions to, and that became a great thing for us. It became a big differentiating factor. I used to give glass jars. I still give that glass jars with a chutney and piyaz, which were a big cost, but everyone loved it. They used to reuse them.
Fabulous. It was fabulous. I got this on my when I got it delivered for my friend, and with the onions and with the chutney, and I was like, dude, look at the packaging and the way you have pictures. There's a picture of
with the jaggi,
it's beautiful. It gives you the whole vintage and you get back in the storyline.
So basically, what taught me in that time in COVID, when a customer comes to your restaurant, he sees the interior, the facade. That's what makes his impression. How do you make the impression at home? You have to, make sure your brand resonates with your packaging, and it just gives, it gets the right positioning through your packaging. So that was the idea, and so that's what. And before that, by the way, we never had ever done delivery from our restaurant, and we had the decision we will never do delivery. And then this happened. Delivery was the only thing which made us survive, because we were making sure all our team is taken care of. They, we used to pay them, whatever maximum we can generate, and even bear losses and make sure their homes are, run. So it was and that's why they all stayed back with us. Many people are still with us in 6 years. So and now today I can very proudly say that delivery contributes about 27% of our sales.
That's amazing.
So what I learned out of this, the lesson here is, every adversity has an opportunity, and if you look at everything as a problem, you will never be able to do anything. You look at everything as a challenge, and that challenge can give you amazing solutions which could take you to another level. And by doing this, we today have a very strong delivery business. And so that's basically what I feel about not giving up and thinking different and innovating. Like I could have thought no one has ever done 5 senses delivery, how people are going to react to it. I said, let me just do it. Let me go and execute. One more thing I always realize, people think of ideas, think of them too much, and they don't even do anything about it.
Yeah.
I feel the moment I think of a good idea, I start executing. I said, I don't want to wait, execute.
So there's a word called analysis paralysis, right?
Yeah,
this is actually that. It used to happen all the time that all our friends are sitting, we're talking about ideas, ये करते हैं, वो करते हैं, and then you think about it so much that तुमने उसके negative भी निकाल दिया और cancel out कर दिया. तो उससे अच्छा है bloody dive into it. You find your intuition says it's a great idea, dive into it. और बाद में देखो उसके see, there's no idea which will not have hidden challenges. सबके challenges आएंगे. You want to do something, you'll find, ये तो मैंने सोचा नहीं था, but कोई बात नहीं, let's go forward with it.
Yeah, if you're sure, like I said, when I was convicted about the idea of opening Daryaganj, I improvised wherever I could, but I had to make it a success, and I made it a success. So that was the idea, and that's how we came out of that period of COVID, learning a lot of new things, innovating, and me coming in when I learned so much about how technology works. So that was our journey getting out of the setback of COVID.
Tell me, this challenge I also faced. We entrepreneurs are also some kind of artists, because they are trying to innovate, they're trying to play around with colors, they're trying to play around with concepts. But in my journey in the beginning, one thing I always ignored was finances. I was like, चलो ताज महल बनाएंगे, पर वो कैसे, उसको चलेगा कैसे, वो बाद में सोचेंगे.
Right.
So tell me how important that was, and how you learned in this journey.
I learned it after losing money. so basically, I told you about my journey, about how I had to shut down a lot of restaurants and lost a lot of money. That was the best learning. But I hope everyone doesn't have to learn that way. Learn from other people's mistakes. So I realized that yes, you have to be very strong with your finances. So when I was doing the new restaurant, like I said, I didn't want to make it a very big restaurant. Don't increase my investment. Keep it a certain level of investment there, so that the ROI which I am looking at is good enough to recover my investment in maybe say 2 to 3 years, which is considered very good. But I was always targeting to make sure that I recover whatever I invest in every restaurant within 2-3 years. So for that you have to have a very high you have to have a very high margin, and for that you need to look at every single head, from your cost head, how you can control your costs. And like I said, I learned a lot from my failures. That what I learned was what not to do more than anything else, because that's what not many people teach you. Everyone tells you should do this, you should do that, but no one teaches you what not to do. And that was very important for me. So yes, so finances is very important, and that's where we looked at very, very strongly looked at that.
So what kind of a good restaurant, what kind of profit margins should minimum it should have to survive and to be profitable?
So, a restaurant business is a very risky business. First of all, I must very clearly say that everyone thinks it's very glamorous, very, very, very easy. There's a study all over the world that 70% of the restaurants shut down in the first 1 year, because there's no entry barrier. Everyone thinks it's easy. I'm a home cook. I love food. I can just start. It doesn't work like that. It's a very, very tough business. It looks glamorous, but you have to work 16, 18 hours. Like I was telling you, I did that. And even now I have to be available all the time for my team, because it's, and look at the people who, like, touch wood, I have a very strong team now, so I don't have to stand there every day. But my team has to work there even on New Year's Eve, even on Diwali, or even on Holi. But the thing is, that's what the sacrifices you need to do as a restaurant owner, or someone working in a restaurant, or something working in a hotel. And I feel that it's a lot of sacrifices, so don't think it's too glamorous. And coming back to the margins, so it's a very wafer thin margin business, you know. So thing is, there's a fixed cost. So we have to look at two things: fixed and variable costs. Variable cost is your food cost. You're selling food, then you're bearing a cost for it. But there's a fixed cost. For a restaurant, it's a rental, which is fixed. It doesn't, and you know, whatever happens, you have to pay the rental. There are salaries. Whatever happens, you have to pay the salaries. So these are the two major fixed expenses. So even if your sale is, so if, you know, if my fixed expenses are 10, and you know, and my sale is 10, I'm going to lose money for sure, you know. So it's not, because it will not cover up that expense. You have to cover the variable costs as well. So a good restaurant should be about 20-25% outlet level margin, and if it's a chain, then 15% at the corporate level. Below that, it will become very tough, because you know, then you are going to be in a very tough
You're going to be
position.
like hand to mouth.
Yeah.
Every day. So, this restaurant business you got into, now you're doing 15. Are these all that? What do you think? People should franchise, or they should open their own, or what is your best way of thinking about it?
See, I don't believe in franchising. And it's my personal opinion. I'm not saying it doesn't work everywhere. I feel in India it's very different. People have a different attitude towards franchise. And you know, if you go to America and other countries, franchisees have become so successful. Even a McDonald's, you know, has maybe thousands of franchisees. But I think there's a more structured thinking, structured way of doing things there. In India, it's a little different. So I feel usually a brand can risk a lot of their reputation by, you know, having a franchise where things could be, you know, not going as per the brand.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's why I never want to get into that. And I'm very clear that in India we will never do franchising. In fact, anywhere we will never do franchising. But what we will still be open to doing is maybe, say, finding a big, larger player outside India. Say someone in America who's a local, you know, entrepreneur in America who wants to tie up with us and do a joint venture with us. We could still do that, and we've already done it in Bangkok, by the way. Thailand, we opened our first international. Thank you. We've just opened our first international restaurant in Bangkok, in a hotel, in a 5-star hotel, and then we had done it with in partnership with someone who, and that person owns the hotel, and so that's what we are open to. But we will never give our operations to anyone else, because we want to make sure the operations are always within within this company, because then, you know, we can maintain the brand standards, brand ethos. I very clearly believe, even if it's extra cost, I will not compromise on the quality of the ingredients going into my food. I will not compromise on the quality of interiors I'm going to make. I'm not going to compromise on paying my team what is the market salary is. So all of these things I don't compromise on. You know, I feel we have a responsibility towards everyone, from your customers to your employees to everyone.
Absolutely, you know? Absolutely. That's a good point, that you're responsible for everyone, and you have to make sure that if you do a bad project, it's harming everyone, not just you, but your employees, the investors, the people you're partners with, your vendors, everyone. The
restaurant business is about winning hearts. If you win your team's heart, they will win your customer's heart, because the way they will serve them. If you win your customer's heart, they will give you the revenue, they will win your shareholders' hearts.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
It's a chain.
It's all connected. It's all connected.
Yeah. You know, like I deal with hoteliers all the time, because I open spas in hotels mostly. I always see this in them, that every small entrepreneur wants to open a restaurant, and every industrialist wants to open a hotel. And they open it, and then they realize that what soup they are into. So there are things that you should be very careful of, and especially these businesses are not easy. People only see the good side of it. That मेरे दोस्त आएंगे, उनको entertain करेंगे, उनको शराब पिलाएंगे, alcohol पिलाएंगे, party करेंगे, ये सब करेंगे. But that is only probably a 2% part of the entire game. I would say even the success rate will be maybe even less than 1%, you know, of people who are doing extremely well in a bar business, you know. Food business, like food focused brands, are still higher, you know, rate of success, you know. And
I mean, more than anything else, what is very much required for a restaurant business or anyone who wants to get into the hospitality business, they should have a very strong passion for that business. Because I'll tell you what, if you don't have a passion for it, you will not you will not be able to handle the ups and downs. Because then ultimately you will because if you're there for something else, if you're there just to make money, it will really disappoint you. But the business will never always be straight. It will be lot of ups and downs.
Course.
So very, very important for a restaurant business, someone who gets into a restaurant business, have a very strong passion, but also have some kind of experience, either working in a restaurant or maybe or getting a partner who's already worked in a restaurant. Somewhere or the other, you should have some kind of a experienced person, or you get yourself to go get some experience before you start or get into the restaurant business, because you will know what it is all about before that.
No, 100%. Like any business that you get into, if you're doing it for money, you're never going to succeed.
Yeah.
Because there is going to be times, there are going to be hard time where there's no money coming in, and it's only your passion which drives you कि नहीं यार मुझे यही करना है और मैं इसको सक्सेस बना के रहूँगा. Otherwise.
I know there's a very nice study done by Stanford University. They found two groups. One group was very intelligent people, who are like, you can say toppers, everyone these are the guys who are going to be very successful. And one group of people who are not saying that the best in terms of talent or getting them some marks or whatever, but they were the ones who had a lot of, they were the one had a lot of grit. And they were like ones who will, go after, they will be very hardworking, that they will not give up. So, and then they monitored both these groups for many, many years. What they realized very clearly was the ones who were successful were not the ones who were intelligent, talented. The ones who were the more hardworking and who had that grit were the ones who were successful. So that's what differentiates you. And what is grit? Passion and perseverance. You should have that, even Steve Jobs said that, whatever you do in life, you should have a passion for it. Only then you will be able to persevere through the tough times. And that's a mix of both is called grit. So I feel that's just the most important trait required for not even restaurant, for any business, or any entrepreneur, to have grit. And you've seen so many cases of people who's we've heard about, this guy had so much talent, he didn't succeed. This guy was so intelligent, he didn't do well in life. Why? Because those people did not put in that effort or didn't have the perseverance to see through their goals. And that's where the difference comes in.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I also have these friends around me who are super smart. And the problem with them is that they analyze things so much that they cancel out with the problems that okay restaurant business, like for example they'll say restaurant business is great but आजकल नहीं चल रहा है, these kind of cuisines are not working out. Rather than, I always feel action is better than inaction. जब आप action करते हो, you get to know what's not working और तुम उसे correct करते हो, you find ways to do it, you find ways to improve it. जब तुमने action ही नहीं लिया, so you will never know what to correct and what not to correct and where to get better. So the person.
But take an action which is calculated.
No, of course. And tell me this, that if someone, I know that probably out of 190 people always want to own a restaurant. Like everybody wants to own a restaurant, and obviously it's super difficult, and most of the restaurants don't even do well, right? So what are the things you think a person, let's say, who gets out of college or has earned some amount of money and is thinking that yaar mujhe apna restaurant kholna hai, I should have one, what he should be careful about and what he should really see before opening things?
See, one thing which is very important is like I said, the passion and perseverance. You should have that grit, that that this is something I will, want to do only, not only just for the money. Money is important, but not like the only thing I'm doing this for. It's something I really want to do. I love serving people. I love getting the people to come in and, have a smile see the smile on their face. Do you feel happy about that or no? Or you just, I'm just happy getting the money. Then don't do it. Number one. Number two, be prepared to give for a lot of sacrifices, for getting all the easy life, working late hours, working on holidays. Are you okay? Are you ready to give up that much? Then do it. Third is, it's a high rate of failure. So very, very important to get experience. Go and get some experience. Do you have some experience somewhere of doing the restaurant business before? Or get a partner or someone who already has worked in a restaurant business. And then comes the finance part. Don't think that I'll just open the restaurant and I'll manage. You need to have at least, assume that 6 months to 1 year you will not do well, and have that much money to back you up. And one more thing which is very common in the restaurant industry, either you pick up in the first 6 months or 12 months, after that there's no way you will pick up. Well, so people, it's very tough to revive a restaurant which has not done well more than 6 to 12 months, because a customer, if he's not coming for the first 6 to 12 months, or if he's coming and not coming, he's coming to your restaurant and not coming back, then it's going to be very tough for you to revive it. So the first 6 to 12 months are very important for a restaurant, and sometimes you don't get the results you expect, so you should have enough capital to back you for that 6 to 12 months, and at the same time, I feel that a lot of people who have dreams to open a restaurant might not have so much capital. So I would say, why don't you go and work in some kind of a restaurant and get some experience, show your capabilities, and then go find an investor like I did.
Yeah. Tell me how important it is to have customer retention, and how much they should come back. Like in a year, you see the same customer coming 2 times, 3 times, 5 times.
Over a period of, we've monitored, we get our data, and so we track all our customer data. We have a 59% customer retention rate over 6 months. So that means every customer, 59% of the customers keep coming back in 6 months. If I look at it on a year, on a yearly basis, it'll be much higher. So 59% within 6 months. So basically what it is, I'll tell you, if you look at any restaurant which is doing well, you ask them, tell me, you get 100 customers a day. Out of these 100, how many are new, how many are coming again? Any good restaurant will always have 60-70% people who are coming again. And on a yearly basis, if you look at it. Because if you have to get new customers every day, you're going to be spending on marketing. Of course. Or you have to be in like a tourist spot where people are coming every day and new people are coming. So a good restaurant always focuses on regular repeat business. And how to get that is to make sure that when the customer comes the first time to your restaurant, he gets such a great experience that he wants to come back again. So everything comes down to the customer. There was like my grandfather who spoke about, who came with nothing from he came from Lahore with nothing, and started his life all over again, and he built a small petrol pump first. He got it on for rent, and then bought it later. And I learned one thing from him. He used to have a board outside in his then he started workshops for Bajaj Auto. Then a family got Bajaj Auto dealerships and the Maruti dealerships. So there was a board always there, which I used to see whenever I used to go there. It said, "Customer is God." I mean, that's what it is. And I tell my team the same. Ultimately, I tell them that whatever I pay you every month, or salary that comes to you, that money ultimately comes from the customer only. So he's the one who pays for everything. And the thing is, you have to respect your customer. You cannot think that. And one more thing, a rule in a restaurant industry is, customer is always right. Don't argue, and you have to forget all your ego. One more thing is, you have to forget all your ego. I've done that myself. That sometimes a customer comes, he's very unhappy. What happened? This is not good. The food is not good. Whatever. He might take out his frustration. You cannot say, "Oh, why are you talking to me like this?" You say, "Okay." You have to just say, "And we are very sorry for whatever happened. We regret what you went through." That you have to have that thing that now you cannot put yourself first. "Oh, why is he talking to me like that?" Because that's what restaurant business is all about. I mean
that in hospitality also I face that. If sometimes feel that my managers also say this, that sir, people are so thankless. They feel entitled कि अब आए हैं हम यहाँ, हम थोड़े पैसे दे रहे हैं, तो now the world is ours, the whole place is ours. We can say whatever we want. It feels like that.
But I tell you one thing, look at it this way: how our country is, India, people are all running after things. They're trying to compete with each other. There's so much of competition. Everyone is going through some stress or the other. So I was telling my team the other day, imagine that anyone who's coming to your restaurant, maybe 90% of them are not happy. They're like, okay, they're just trying to come there to get over their frustration, or maybe to feel, or to have some nice comfort food.
I agree.
So when they are coming there with some kind of a thing that's going on in their mind, they might be a little more repulsive to whatever. They might see something which they're frustrated about. Someone said something, the boss said something to them, but they'll see you serve the food better. What is this? They will take out frustration out on you. The thing is, that is how it is. You have to realize that everyone is coming there to try to forget something else. Maybe there's very few percentage of people who come to celebrate. You have to be very tolerant to that. You have to be tolerant to understanding that everyone here might be coming with some kind of a baggage on their in their heads.
Absolutely. I'm a wellness coach, so I talk to so many people, and they it's a major problem that people eat more in stress.
Yeah, they do.
And they try to forget things, like you said, they try to forget things by eating and try to divert their mind by eating.
And and sometimes when it's not bad to do that once in a while, because what do you call it? Comfort food.
Yeah.
So like Daryaganj is also comfort food.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you are stressed, when you have when you have a problem, you want to go have some nice comfort food. At home you'll have a nice khichdi or a dal, whatever you want. When your culture has a comfort. So, dal makhni butter chicken are the comfort food for Punjabis and Delhiites.
No, that's true. That's a good point, that people are coming from their own stresses and life battles, and they this is the way they are about to forget about it, and probably in the whole day they're trying to flush it out while they're in the restaurant.
And then that's what I'm telling everyone, that imagine today you are here, someone says something, you will go out and you will take out frustration on someone else then. So that's how it is, but the chain has to stop somewhere. You have to take it, you have to be tolerant to it, because that's what our business is all about.
Tell me, you of course you research, you travel, you see all these restaurants. If I ask you like 2-3 restaurants which really inspires you, the chains or the brands around the world or in India, what would that be and why?
I personally, I would say one thing, that I can't think of specific ones. One thing very important is that I always tell people that focus on your business, not what other people are doing, but that you should be aware of what is happening around you. But I was so engrossed in my own business, very tough to like that. But I personally love to eat Indo-Chinese food. So I order like all these old style restaurants in Delhi, like the Chungwa and this Golden Dragon. I love the Indo-Chinese food. But actually that food is not even Chinese. It's like Indian.
There's like red noodles and garlic noodles.
So chili chicken and all that, all originated from Calcutta in Chinatown. So I love that kind of food. So, but I personally don't, I would say Indian accent is a great example of how they've taken Indian cuisine to another level. They're not the same segment as us, but I really look up to them for one reason, that they made Indian food so much popular. That's one example I can think of.
I went to recently this place called Indie by Kula in El Deco. Indian food, they're doing fusion, and these like a lot of these restaurants are coming up which is serving fusion food, Indian fusion. Like avocado with namkeen and stuff like that. It was interesting innovation.
So like I say, whatever you do it unapologetically. If I'm doing classic, I'm doing classic. You're doing modern, you do modern. Because every cuisine has its space. By the way, one more thing I must say, in 1947 when butter chicken dal makhni came about, they were modern. They were modern Indian cuisine. But there was no butter chicken dal makhni before that. So when Mr. Jaggi served these two dishes, he was actually doing some modern Indian that time in a way. But there was no butter chicken dal makhni before which had been served. So today what is modern can become the classic in the future.
But it's insane how you are getting back the legacy food with the same people who actually invented it. It's a story. It's really a story to tell. And everything, even in our spas or even any other business, when you have an authentic story, the food tastes different. The food really tastes different, because when I opened your packaging, I had it at home and I saw the picture of the founder, and the food is coming and it was written invented by. So before the food was even open, I was already into that experience. You know what I mean? It's like a wine bottle. You read, who cares? The wine is 80 years old or 60 years old, but you learn, it's coming from Bordeaux and it's vintage and this and that.
So, I say one thing, that in today's times, attention span is very short. So if you have a story, at least you will grab people's attention first time. Then after that, but by the way, one more thing I must say, a story or a right promotion can get you attention for the first time, where people will come and try your product. But second time, they're not going to come back for the story or the whatever promotion you've done. It comes all down to the product. Like everyone tells me, you must have got a great one. You're the inventor of butter chicken dal makhni. People just come for that. I said, yes, they come for that first time. But will you go back second time if you don't like the food or you don't like the experience? You're not only go back second time for the story. So that's what it is. So ultimately, have a great story, have something differentiating factor for people to come and be interested in you. But then it ultimately comes down to a great product and a great customer experience, and that's what it is.
Tell me what inspires you and where you want to take Daryaganj.
my biggest inspiration is that I feel very strong about my country and my country's culture. Like when we went to Thailand and opened restaurant in Bangkok, we got the Indian ambassador of Thailand to come and inaugurate it, and he said some very nice words. He said that any country, apart from dance, music, couture, one big soft power they have is cuisine. How they can take the culture to their own country's culture to the world. Like people would know about butter chicken dal makhani, they would not know much about India, but they must have tried butter chicken dal makhani somewhere in some random country in the world. So that's one thing. So I feel very strong about making our North Indian cuisine popular all over the world. I feel it's not being served right in many countries. They don't know how to make the right North Indian cuisine. So that's one mission to take it all over the world and make it the go-to North Indian restaurant brand for anyone. I mean, like anyone says North Indian, they have to say Daryaganj.
Yeah.
That's one thing, which is one of the missions we have for our company. And apart from that, just keep serving some smiles to our customers, give them some relief from whatever their problems are. They come, have a good experience. That's what it's all about.
So Amit, you were on Shark Tank, right? It must be a very interesting journey. How did it start and what really happened? Like you contacted them, they contacted you. How does it happen?
So it's a funny story. This was one day I was just sitting and I was, surfing the web and I saw a thing pop up, apply for Shark Tank, something like that. Okay, what's that? I had not, heard much about Shark Tank before. I'd seen a few episodes. So I opened the link and it says apply for Shark Tank. I said, okay, but I was under the impression that Shark Tank is mostly for, this new age brand, innovative stuff coming in. I said, should I apply for Daryaganj? Like, man, apply karke dekhte hain, kya hai? So I said, okay, I put my Daryaganj, I put my name, whatever, I just applied for it and left it. I mean, with no expectations at all. Then after 10 days, I get a mail saying, okay, you were selected for the second round. Send us this information. I said, okay, this is good. So I said, okay, the 50 questions, I put all the information. I sent it to them. I said, okay, I'll keep going. Jab jo aayega, dekhenge. Then I applied for it, left it. The third, then I get another third mail saying that you in the next round. Now you send a video pitch. So I called up my friend Raghav in America. I said, yeah, you have to send a video pitch. He said, Pagal hai, do you think we will get selected? I said, yeah, select hona ho, try to karenge na.
Yeah.
You make a 1 minute video, I'll make a 1 video, we'll attach this and send it to them. You made a video, send it to them. Again, forgot about it. 1 month later, I get another mail, you're selected for the next round. Now come to Bombay for audition. Okay, so I went to Bombay for the audition. I went there, I spoke about the brand, everything. Even there I was thinking, yeah, so many people are here. I mean, I believe that 4-5 lakh people applied for that and they're going to choose 100. I said, yahan tak hi pahunch gaye, chalo great, yaar. We may reach this level. I did the audition, went back. Then I get a call after a few weeks that you are selected for the last round. I said, what? And they call us 2 weeks before, like you have to be there.
Yeah.
I said, okay, then I call up Raghav, he's in America. Kaise hounga? Just take a flight and come next week. We have to go there for this shoot. And this happened, and then we went there for the shoot. So the shoot was in Yashraj Studios. I'm a big Bollywood buff, so I'm going there and we're going into this, makeup room where they're coming and doing my hair and makeup, like, they do it for the actors, like, it's funny and very nice. Yeah. And then when I was walking by, this is Shah Rukh Khan's room, this is this person's room, whatever. It's amazing. Then we went for the shoot, and the shoot was impromptu. No preparation. So the first time you meet the sharks is the moment you go in front of the camera. So we went there and the shoot starts. The first thing Aman Gupta says, I know you guys. मैं तुम्हारे यहाँ रेस्टोरेंट में बहुत बड़ी आया हूँ. मैं तुम्हारा खाना बहुत पसंद है. And I'm like, okay, thankful, this is a good start. So he said, I've been to your restaurant, I'm a big fan of your restaurant. And that was a great start. And then, we had a lot of...
You feel confident, ekdam se you get that
start.
thing.
There were like a lot of things there, grilled us also, but it was good fun.
Yeah.
And then finally, we thought about it, what's there to lose? We just go here and give our best shot and let's see how it goes. And it went well. Aman Gupta came on board. He came in with a very small equity, but it was like the money was not what we were there for. If we could get someone good to come on, we could tell a story, could get someone good to come on board. We got all of that, and then before it got aired, after the shoot also happened, they said there's still no confirmation whether it will be aired. So they might, because you are within the last 200, out of that 100 will not be shown. So okay, there's still a chance not to be aired. So then, just 3 days before the show was to be aired, we got a call, you getting aired.
Wow.
And that was like, again a surprise.
Yeah.
And then it got aired, and the next day they were like hundreds of calls, queues outside the restaurants. We couldn't
Really?
handle the business.
Wow.
There's so much business we could not handle it. So if we were 100, our business went up to 150 for that 1 month. But then the best part was, in the next 10 months also, that 150 got stabilized at 130. That means our business did not drop. Because people who again came for the first time listening from Shark Tank, but then they kept coming back because they had a great experience.
Yeah.
So we retained the customers. So that was the great part. And just to sum it up about Shark Tank or whatever, a lot of people in their life, they don't try thinking, यार हम क्या पहुंच सकते ही नहीं हैं, क्या try करें. So I say one thing, that to win a lottery, you need to buy a ticket. So and your ticket is trying. So if you don't even go and try, how are you going to win the lottery?
नहीं, life में ना मैंने ऐसे देखा है that people, let's say, who have nothing to lose, they always succeed, like we were talking about, because वो सब कुछ try करते हैं.
Right.
People who are, say, coming from good families or are rich or whatever, they have a sense of pride or ego जो उनके बीच में आ जाती है, जो उन्हें stop कर देती है to actually take steps to try things out in life. एंड मुझे लगता है कि बहुत लोग ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिस कर जाते हैं. वो सोचते हैं यार ये क्या करेंगे, इसकी हमें ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्या इन्वेस्टमेंट दे देंगे, हम कर लेंगे, किसी और से ले लेंगे. बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज लोगों की ऐसे रह जाती है. डोंट यू थिंक सो?
Yeah, you're right, but I also came from a rich family and a very good background. But I think what really matters is that a lot of people, it's a very small thing. A lot of people are lazy. They don't want to go and make an effort. सोचते सब कुछ अपने आप हो जाएगा. Whatever it is, people see successes here and there, saying यार इसने तो कुछ भी इतना लकी है, इसने कुछ भी नहीं किया, इतना सक्सेसफुल हो गया, अरे इसकी कहाँ से किस्मत खुल गई. It's all a fad, in reality, there is no success without hard work.
I agree.
You have to, Shah Rukh Khan, you see Shah Rukh Khan, he talks about it, and everyone says about him that, whatever, even if he's so successful now, he works hard like crazy every day, every single detail he gets into, he works hard. You have to work hard. There's no other, way you can get successful. And, maybe 1 out of 10 billion people get successful, you cannot be that,
No, of course. And you have to keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, Shah Rukh Khan, let's say when he was young, he's doing different roles. When he's doing different roles. So he has to also reinvent कि यार अब मैं वो नहीं हूँ. So अब मुझे अपना जो पूरा plan है वो उस हिसाब से चलना है. And same for us.
Yeah.
Like today I was doing, like you said, you were doing restaurants, COVID hit, you reinvented yourself.
Yeah.
You were like चलो अब इसको हम घर पे कैसे दरियागंज लेके जाएं. Then you figured that out.
Yeah.
Then you came back again into restaurant. Then you'll reinvent yourself into going into international places. कि अब भाई जो पहले तो हम रेंट पे कर रहे थे, अब जॉइंट वेंचर्स में कैसे जाए. So you have to constantly build that up, right?
Yeah, like I said, Shah Rukh Khan is also from my school, same school, St. Columbus. I'm a big fan of him as a person as well. And he said very rightly that, I didn't know what anything else. I will wake up in the morning, go and give my best effort every day. Rest is whatever happens, we'll see.
Tell me, this is the last thing I want to ask you is that you have hundreds of people coming to your restaurant every day, right? You must have got really funny stories from customers or great stories from customers. Tell me one funny or great story you've had from a customer which you can't forget and which you always think of.
Many stories, but it's very tough to recall any kind of a story like this. But
like you had a customer who's coming from really far away and he's telling you, especially
we got a call at 1 a.m. We shut our restaurant by 12:30. 1 a.m. we get a call from someone who says, I'm here, at the airport and I really want to take your food along with me. For my parents to try, and I really request you please give it to me. I said, our chefs have left. What do we do? We can't do it and do anything now. He was very convincing. He said, this is and I my parents are really looking forward to trying your food. We actually called the chef back. Wow. And I said, okay, cook these 2 dishes for him, give it to him, pack it for him so he can take it for his parents, And so things like that. And we get a lot of people coming in, getting our food packed and taking it all over the world. Right. And and sometimes there's been cases where people call us, if my parents, like NRIs who say that my parents are living here, please get this food delivered to them. It's a surprise from us. They will love it, and they feel that it gives them the parents who are like a little older get the feel of nostalgia with our food. So that's what keeps happening with us, and happy that, and one more thing I'm very happy about. The same time, we get 8-9-year-olds who come in, who become fans of our food. There's a guy, an 8-9-year-old boy, who wrote a poem on Daryaganj. And I'm like so happy
how
that we
sweet.
are touching all generations, you know.
Yeah.
So that's
How
a
sweet.
few.
You should put it up on social
we did,
media.
we did.
Okay. Nice. Great having you over, Amit. And I guess people will learn a lot from this. And it was brilliant to understand your story and how much you're doing.
My pleasure. It was great being on your show.
My pleasure too. Thank you.